Hello, Team Evo. I'm here with Chris. What'd you do today, friendo?
I got 39th place. Not too good, but I'll explain why we're doing this later. But I played Domain Monarchs today.
Domain Monarchs?
Columbus Regional.
If that's a 2016 deck, what do you mean? You're playing that in 2025?
We got these new cards in Duad, and they're so broken. But nobody plays this. I won a regional a while ago, but I wanted to test it out with my own little build, and I think this worked pretty well. Just some unfortunate things that happened, I'll explain later, that kind of, I started off 4-0 at table 1, and then just the wheels fell off.
Yeah, walk us through it, my man.
Yeah, so to start, we played 7 Squires in total. We played the best one, the new one that came out, Tester of the Primal Squire. Reveals a Monarch spell trap in hand to summon, so it's a free special summon. Ignition effect to extra tribute summon, and then summons any one of the Squires, including herself, from deck, which we were playing 2 Eddie of the Heavenly Squire and 2 Eidos, the Underworld Squire.
These are the ones from 2016, the OG ones.
These are the ones from the structure deck. These are even the structure deck prints. This guy gives you an extra tribute summon on summon and revives by banishing. Or banishes to revive any Squire, and you're locked out of the extra deck. There's no extra deck, so it doesn't matter.
Who could have guessed?
Right, Domain. And then Edia, on normal or special, summons a Squire from deck, locks you out, adds a banish a Monarch spell trap when sent to graveyard.
Okay, is that any way it's sent to graveyard? Like, you could, like, send it theoretically from hand or, like...
Yep.
Okay.
You can send it from hand, you can send it from deck with a couple of cards, you can send it from field, obviously by tributing off. And like sometimes you can even banish, you can use like other cards to banish the cards you want to play around in certain floodgates like Droll and Lockbird and stuff. So it's kind of neat.
That's super cool.
Yep. So I wouldn't play more than these. You could play, there's a couple Squires that are or like vassals that are fringe that you could play, but I wouldn't play more than these. I drew 2 of this guy like it was my job in the last few rounds, and this is one of those cards where you play 2 because you don't want to draw 1. If you draw 1 when you play 2, it's fine. But when you draw
I see.
2,
Have you ever considered just playing 1 and saying if you draw it, you draw it?
No, because if you play a more than 2-turn game, you need him.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, going on to the actual like namesake of the deck being the Monarchs, right?
So straight out of the structure deck, 3 Aether the Heavenly Monarch on tribute summon, special summons a Monarch from deck, and then it comes back to hand in the end phase, and it dumps 2 spell traps from the deck to do this. And then it's a hand trap. During the main phase, banish a Monarch spell trap from your graveyard and tribute summon it. So it can get this self back on the field to establish a tribute summon body. And usually just like, so if you can either summon one of the new Monarchs with this, or you can just summon a second copy of itself from deck and bounce it, and you just effectively search to hand trap that insulates your board.
All right.
And it's a consistency piece just because like the hands you want to draw in this deck are multi-card combos. You want to draw Squire, Squire plus Monarch plus like usually the card you want to draw is like going first is like Domain, just to get like the combos going. You don't lose at that point. You don't lose to hand traps.
All right.
And we played 2 Erebus. You could play 3 of this. I don't think it's worth it. You just need 2 because people play Bisteals and stuff. It helps you. Playing 2 helps you dodge Bisteals. It's a soft once per turn, so sometimes you can loop it multiple times. It's kind of like Volcanic Shell in that matter. But on Tribute Summon, it's a non-targeting shuffle from hand, field, or graveyard. So turn 1, going first, you're just hand looping people. This like usually takes a card or 2 in front of its hand, depending on how many times you want to loop it. And then going second, it's just insane board breaker. You can force your opponent to activate certain back row just because it doesn't target. You can out cards in the graveyard. There's a ton of stuff you can out. Like it. Sometimes there's a couple games where I out like a Canine Lupus, couple set force releases, and some other fun graveyard effects that were like a couple like branded extra deck monsters and stuff. It was really nice to have this guy here.
No, listen, this man literally forced out my Snow Devil. I literally could not flip the card. He's like, all right, get rid of it.
Yep. If you flipped it, if you flipped it, you would have lost. I think you would have been able to loop a card out of your hand instead. And then the new Monarch, Eidos, the Underworld Monarch.
This card's unironically crazy.
This is like Holly Sue level support. Kind of. On normal or special, adds anything from the archetype, from deck or grave. Monarch spell trap, or Mega Monarch, so like 20 at 1,000. So it doesn't add like the small ones. But its other effect is non-target, change an attribute of a monster on field, and then if you tribute someone while it's in the graveyard, it summons. It's like low, if you're familiar with that card. This card just does everything. You can summon off Aether, and if you're under Droll, you can dump the card you want to add back, and that adding it from graveyard plays around that. It's a starter. It searches Domain. It searches Aether or Erebus. 2, this card's just broken. And it summons itself, so it's a free discard a lot of the time. And the fun way that this card works is if you use this as tribute material. If anyone's familiar with the card like Dupe Frog works, the way it works in Yu-Gi-Oh is a monster goes to the graveyard before its tribute summon, or chooses tribute, before the tribute summon monster hits the field. So this counts as being in the graveyard when you tribute it off. It's freaking awesome. This card's broken.
The card is absolutely insane.
I wish I could play 10 copies of this card. It's awesome. Except I bricked on Monarchs a lot, so I wouldn't play 10 copies. And then for the Fringe Monarchs, one Majesty's Fiend. This card's broken, obviously. You need this specifically to beat strategies like Vanquish Soul and Mitsurugi, because those decks actually can interact with Domain, because they don't care about their extra deck a lot of the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
One absolute god card, Kai's the Shadow Monarch.
This card's goated in 2025.
Goated in 2025 for a reason. They've made this card, like they've constructed a card that just makes playing this, and then I played Zaborg to play around Nibiru, which I'll explain later. I don't think I got Nibiru'd once, and I bricked on this card every single time I drew it. I would still play it just as a second target for a different card in the deck, but it kind of sucks. Like a lot of the time I boarded this out and I would just keep the one target for the one of the new cards, and I just play the Caius, because you can change one of your opponent's attributes to dark if the attributes don't line up, and then you can just do the play like this. But if you do get Nibiru'd, this card saves your ass every single time.
Have you ever considered playing like Vanity's Fiend? I know it is a Monarch stats, right? But it's like
so you have to draw it off of something like Pantheism, and it's like, I mean, it's freaking Vanity's Fiend. You can't special summon. It's really good, but it conflicts with the engine.
I see.
Because, I mean, so does Majesty's Fiend, but this card does a lot more. It prevents some weird fringe effects from going off. It prevents hand traps sometimes. Like if your opponent's greedy with a Nibiru, shit, you just hit this guy on the field. What are they gonna do? Activate Nibiru? No. I think every single time this card hit the field, my opponent instantly scooped. This card's broken. You gotta play this.
Yeah, that card is actually broken.
And I should have kept the counter, but I tribute summoned this at least 10 times today.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
And then
onto the actual like meat and potatoes of the deck is all the spell cards.
Yeah, all the spell traps. We played 3 Monarch Stormforth. There's gonna be a lot of 3-ups. Once during it's just turns any Monarch in your hand, basically in a kaiju. Once during the turn, it applies a lingering effect where you can just tribute summon one monster your opponent controls at any time in the turn after this effect resolves. And you're locked out of the extra deck, and it's an activate once per turn. So a lot of the times, I didn't play against Mitsu Yummy today, or like any Yummy variant. But if they go Arc, like this is the Arclight out. This shit, just you activate it, your opponent can put you on game. Like you don't have a Monarch in hand, but like nobody's gonna do that. They're just gonna negate this, and then you rip the second one, and it's goated. Or like the other cards that just like you got the negate out, and now all of your deck does something, because like this deck, the removal that some of the decks put up, like they don't put up enough removal that's convenient for them to actually stop you from tribute summoning. So I would always play this card at 3. I sided this. I don't know if I ever sided. Sometimes I sided one out, because my siding patterns were really funky. I was doing vibes-based siding today, to be honest.
That's okay. We always have to do. You have to do that every once in a while.
Yeah, especially with this deck, because it's just all engine. New card, 3 Monarchs Master Point. So it's Foolish Burial Goods for the archetype, not once per turn on field activated effect, but if it's banished by the effect of like Prime Monarch or Aether or a different trap I'm playing, you can target a monster your opponent controls, add 24,000 with the same attribute as that targeted monster, and then tribute summon any of the OG Monarchs. So this is how you get Caius out, this is how you get Zaborg out, your opponent nibs you. You banish this with Prime, target nib, add Zaborg, tribute summon, Prime over nib, target pop nib. Against a lot of matchups, you can target like a dark monster, Caius, and then it also, on your opponent's turn, it triggers this guy. So if you do this play, and he's in your graveyard, you special summon him, and then you add Aether, and it's another installation to your board. Or if you know you're going to live, you just add Stormforth for the follow-up.
Yeah,
or you can add Erebus, you can just add anything.
Literally, just do whatever you actually need. Like
you just grab whatever, and like sometimes you just grab Tenacity, because Tenacity is whatever you need. 3 Monarchs Revolt. This card's just painful choice.
This card is unironically the card I hate seeing. This card forces you to make the worst decision of your life.
This is like the 1 card combo thing. Like this can search this, be a Pantheism. Mm-hmm. Like this is a 1 card combo. Frequently, if you activate this and then your opponent draws you after it resolves, doesn't fucking matter. You've revealed everything. You've dumped 2 monsters with effects from your deck, added 1 monster with a relevant effect to your hand, and you probably have playable cards in your hand because you're playing 40 engine. So you're going to see like a combo that does something, and then your opponent you don't have to worry about it, like a Mulch Army, you have to worry about like normal hand traps. But if you have resolved this card, your opponent's gonna need like 2 more non-engine to stop you. So it's a pretty good card. It also gets the brick Squires out of your hand if you draw them. Sometimes if you like, if your hand is like, especially like going second when you side in some of these cards, like one of the key cards in this deck will be a spell card Soul Exchange. You can like Soul Exchange and then dump one of these, and then just instead of having to like normal summon Edia, if you like brick on like an Edia, it's not like a brick, but like you can dump this with like one of your tribute summons, banish it, start your plays like that. So it's really nice. This card just does literally everything. It's just probably like a Redditor did this, and then Konami saw it and they're like, yeah, that's a good card.
That does sound like a Konami move.
Yeah. And then we played the OG broken card, Pantheism.
Draw 2, baby.
Send 1 Monarch spell trap from hand to graveyard, draw 2 cards, reveal 3 by banishing, add 1 to hand. This card's awesome.
There's not much else to be said. The card is just good. It draws you 2 cards. It gets you whatever card you want. Like
it's like a +3, or it's like a +2 at least. You banish this, you add a spell trap, and then like you've discarded something like a Master Planner or Prime, which has a graveyard effect, or like something dead in your hand, and it just draws 2. And a lot of the cards on the side are just like total blowouts going second. So if you draw them, especially in like a weird yummy game state where your opponent's already interrupted you a little bit, the card's just fucking broken. And it draws you into your multi cards, but it's a little weak to draw. But like if your hand is tribute summon plus Squire, you're probably fine, and you can set up like an interruption or 2. And if you have an interruption or 2, especially with like a domain lock or a Majesty Fiend lock, your opponent's cooked. They're gonna have like a 3-card combo, including like an infinite impermanence or back row hate to beat you. So we played more consistency. We played Tenacity, reveal a Monarch, add a Monarch spell trap. This kind of fills the holes of Pantheism since it reveals 3. If you don't have 3 in your deck, you can just like reveal a Tenacity, and then your opponent's just cooked anyway. This is basically the 3rd copy of everything a lot of the time. And it's just a consistency piece. You play like, I think there was 3, 5, 8, there's 11 Monarchs. Monarch-statted monsters in the deck that can resolve this card. So you rarely brick on this, and if you brick on it, sometimes you brick on it with Pantheism, you use Pantheism, and you pot of greed.
Yep.
And then the staple card of the deck, Domain of the True Monarchs. This card has a lot of effects, and people only care about the top one, where it locks your opponent out of the extra deck while you have no cards in your extra deck, and I'm the only player who controls the Tribute Summon. But it has 2 other relevant effects. It makes it 28,000, one of the Aether Erebus in this deck specifically, 2 levels lower. I'm not playing any extra deck monsters. In the past, you could like overlay an Aether and a level 6 you summon from deck, like a Kuraz, into like a Ptolemy M7, and then go plus infinity. And then
that was extra deck mono. That was the entire gimmick of the deck.
That was the entire gimmick of the deck. You make like a rank 6, but that doesn't work anymore. And Beatrice is also banned, which is the best rank 6.
Yeah.
So like you wouldn't. I don't think it's ever worth playing that type of style extra deck Monarch. You can like Zabor, Mega Zabor Turbo, dump 15 cards out of your extra deck. But I thought this card just like I think I lost 1 game where I activated this card, and it was because my opponent shifted me, and then had a Bastille. And then I didn't have a 28,000, I had a 24, and 25 is a bigger stat than 24.
Yeah, that sounds...
The other effect on this is when I attack your monster, my tribute summons gate 800 in damage death, which doesn't work if they attack you, which kind of blows. But this card's still broken. I would always side out 2 of these going second, unless my opponent's like literal game plan is just fucking dead to this card. But I almost always sided this out because you can recur it with Edia from Banishment and Eidos from Grave, the new Monarch.
Okay.
So, and then a couple one-ofs. Foolish Burial. This card dumps either Tessera or Erebus 90% of the time. If you have like kind of a weird hand, you can just like dump Erebus, discard a guy like a Pantheism from your hand if it's kind of bricked up, and then just add it to your hand, and then you can like Pantheism, or you could just discard or dump Tessera and it summons Edia from your deck, and then it summons Eidos from your deck, and then if you tribute Eidos, you can revive Tessera. It's like this just sets up your Squires for free. It's kind of another Squire most of the time. I think I've dumped Erebus like a few times off of this card, rarely. And like if you need a banished Monarch spell trap, you could dump an Edia. Yep. But this is like Tessera dump. It's called by the grave.
Well, let's establish. This says no draw, because that's the only card that inherently speaking is always the...
I think if you... The card that really sucks is getting ashed on this. Getting ashed on this blows really bad if your hand is kind of mid. Because this is the do everything card. If this is like a 1-card combo, if you get ashed during a 1-card combo, it's bad. And then we played 1 Prime Monarch for a trap. This is just a body that comes out of your graveyard. You banish on your opponent's turn. This is an interruption with Monarch's Master Plan. You banish Master Plan, you summon it. Master Plan, target their guy. You can tribute the guy for Caius or Zaborg if they're on like a light deck. I don't think it happened to me today, but at locals it's happened like plenty of times. And this also can get a card you want. If you've already used like your Eidos Underworld Monarch search, you can banish one of the cards you want to your hand from the graveyard, put it in the banishment, tribute Edia, grab it back. So that happened like once or twice.
All right, now show us literally one of the best support trap cards ever made.
This card's fucking awesome. I think it felt a little win more, but it's Aura card. Like, I think every time I resolved this, I won. Was I probably winning when I resolved it? Yes, but this is the most fucking cool card ever. If I played against a pure Mitsurugi deck, or like a Mitsurugi Yummy deck, this is mandatory to play, because those decks do not give a damn about Domain of the True Monarchs, or at least because they just like the Mitsu engine outs Domain so cleanly. Especially if they do not use prayers like super greedily, because then they can, if you try to like prime Banish Master Plan, then they can just chain prayers, and then you're like legitimately the game is over. But if they use their prayers greedily, or like they have to use it as a starter, then like this setup is fine to banish like a Murakumo, but it's inconsistent. But this just banishes a card from their field, non-targeting. While you control tribute summon monster, if your opponent special summons, it's all the OG Monarch effects non-targeting. I don't know if I've ever activated the Destroy a Set card or Destroy 2 back row, but it's like non-target Ryza, non-target Caius, non-target like a Thestalos discard plus a non-target Zaborg pop. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And the card just looks so cool. It's just Eidos absorbing like all the energy. It's pretty cool.
So that's the main deck. Extra deck, right?
So my extra deck, Kribo token. I never do not be an asshole. Just leave your extra deck zone open. Don't be that guy. This is like the 10.
Did you tell anyone that you had an extra deck or didn't have one?
I never did that. I just like it's not unintentional or anything. Like your opponent should look, right?
Yeah, I agree. They should look. I'm just asking because it's like a weird position. People haven't had to play against Monarch since 2016, so it's like
no, totally. I had my last round opponent who was on Malice. They would like extra deck and side deck in your deck box. I was like, my side deck's in the box. I didn't lie, and they were like, "Where's your extra deck?" I was like, I just gave him a smile, and then they knew what's going on.
I see.
And I bricked on 5 Monarchs, so that was awesome.
Welcome to Monarch, baby.
Yeah, so no extra deck. We're gonna go to the side deck. We're gonna start with the cards that I would actually liked playing, and then I will go to the cards that I'm going to cut because I didn't play against the decks that they were good against, and it just actually I played against, specifically talking about Draco Tail. I cited a lot for Draco Tail, played against it once, and I hosed him anyway because I won for going first. Comboed, and then post side I blindsided because he just scooped, and the blind side was good enough anyway.
Okay.
So we played 3 Molcharmi Fulos. Card's broken.
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it. Everyone's main decking this card. I just couldn't. This deck is kind of already way too bricky, so you just can't main deck cards like these. You have to. If you go first, you need to win going first. You need to combo. 3 Meowls. This was going to either be Puruli or Meowls. I think it's correct to play at least 6 Charmies. I chose Meowls as a coverage card versus Mitsu, Yummy, and Malice. I played against Malice a lot. 3 Malice, didn't draw this card. I drew it versus Orcust, and it gave me 2 draws, and those 2 draws won me the game. It was a couple other cards in the side deck we'll see. This is the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. Soul Exchange. Spell card.
How we explain this card fully for everyone at home that doesn't know what this card does.
So this card is turns your monsters into lava golems. It's so good. Immediately after the effect resolves, tribute summon. You can use your opponent's monsters, and then when it's put in the graveyard, your opponent can apply the effect, but the monster you summon can never be tributed, even by you. But this card is just fucking ridiculous because it gives you, in this deck, it gives you an extra tribute summon on the play, which you need a lot of the time, because you get the max amount of tribute summons you get the extra with Tessera, you get the extra with Mini Eidos, and then you get the extra with Master Plan, because that's an extra tribute summon. But if you get this, if you draw Soul Exchange Aether or Soul Exchange Erebus into a board, it clears 2 monsters, and then it's either Erebus is spinning a 3rd card out of the field or graveyard, or if your opponent's on VSK9, you can start picking at the hand, and if you hit a key attribute, their entire game plan is fucked, or a key back row.
This card just plus Erebus is it feels like there's almost no clean out for it. It's
heavy
insane.
poly at home, right? Mm-hmm. It's like heavy poly into Liger Dancer, except you have to draw the Erebus. It's not that broken, but you have you have Revolt, you have 3 Pantheism, you have a couple ways to get to Erebus, and Eidos can search Erebus, so it's fine. I think every time I drew this card, it won me the game on the spot, or it got negated. There one time I got negated, and then it won me on the spot because it got the negate out, and my hand was all gas.
Yeah.
And then the other games, I think man behind the camera, Nick, we played against, he knew what this card did, and he played around it really well by making Werewolf. But he werewolf ripped my Erebus out of my hand, but had not happened. He was getting cooked by this card. It's
That card's crazy.
If
I
your
listen.
opponent doesn't play around this card, they're literally doomed.
If you don't like you're saying, if you don't play around it, you're just instantly done. And even if you do, sometimes you still lose. Like,
yeah, no, it's insane. Like it's so broken. I played 2 copies of Droll Knockbird.
Okay, we're playing 2 now. We want to see it sometimes, but not all the time. Come on.
Okay. I prioritized the Mulch armies over Droll. I just thought, like, in my head, this card's actually secretly shit, but it's a regional, so people will be playing decks like mine that can kind of randomly just auto-lose to this card. Mm-hmm. And some players will miss-sequence into this card. So I think it's worth playing. I played against a interesting deck. It was like Dogmatic and Nouvelles, and it like skipped his turn for the most part. He had a lot of back row. He like drew a lot of back row, but his engine was completely turned off by this. So I would still play this. I don't know if I would play more of it, but I'm gonna go right into the cards that are leaving the side deck after this event. 3 Double Cyclone and Grand Mark.
We can talk about this one first because this one's probably easier to explain.
Yep. So this is the Earth target for Master Plan, the Master Plan Tribute Summon combo. You can, if you're playing against Dracotail, you can start with like a Master Plan. And this combo kind of sucks now that Sting exists, but like it even baits out Sting. So it either baits out Flame or Sting with this. You can Master Plan, dump Prime, Banish Master Plan, target Arthelion, add summon this if they let this resolve. They're either going to Sting, Banish, like Prime. Oh, awesome. We played this just to do that. The only game I played versus Dracotail today, I ended up winning game 1, I'd said, and then I just kind of dumpstered in game 2 because my hand was goated and I blindsided like Fua Soul Exchange, which was more than enough, especially into a board where you drew like Cashier Fenrir. It was more than enough. Mm-hmm. And then this card, I should have just played Lancia or something.
This card, in theory, makes a lot of sense. You play so many spell cards that you want to resolve.
Yes, a lot of normal spells specifically, like not like specifically like a Pantheism or a Revolt resolving can just be the end of the game. If you double Cyclone this, and like if I drew like this plus Master Plan with this card in my deck, the game is so over. Their Patcross getting popped, and then a card like Domain of the True Monarchs forces the activation of Dracotail 5 mana. Mm-hmm. If you have a Tribute Summon on board, and your opponent has to respect it, they have to activate it there, and you have an Urg, then you just start clearing their board, and if they have the Urg, then you just you have to start picking at the back row, which this card helps with, in theory. In practice, if you're getting in those game states, you have, You have this guy on your board, wherever he is, you have this guy on your board. You can change one of their monsters to Dark and just do Caius.
I see, okay.
So it doesn't, actually matter. I think this card is, kind of bait. It has a lot of aura, and I thought it was fun to play him. I just, I didn't get into situations where it's coming to play him.
Listen, he's an ulti. You can't argue with how good an ulti looks.
Yeah. So, on to the way I lost. My first rounds were 1 against VSK9 with Majesty's Fiend beat down, and then round 2, 1 versus Orcust in a tight game. But I ended up having to play through a couple hand traps plus the full Orcust setup with Crescendo, Symbol for Ding, and the Endil Gearster, whatever his name is, and Imperm and an Impulse. And that was really strong. The cards, the Meowls and the Soul Exchange really helped with those. And then round 3 was versus the Dracotail, which was pretty clean 2-0. Round 4 was versus, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember. It was something weird. No, it was Malice, and I won the die roll, so that's how that went. I won the die roll and drew Tessera plus Domain plus Eidos Monarch every game. Going first, and my opponent could not stop that.
Yeah, that's pretty clean. I can't argue.
And then I was at table 1 for round 5. I'm at table 1 still. And then I queue into Vanquish Soul, and we play I win game 1 because I managed to speed him out. Game 2, I just should have scooped. My opponent resolved Saryuja Skull Dread. I should have just scooped. I waited it out. I tried playing a grind game. Didn't work out. I got drolled. He drew into droll. And then game 3, we played a 30-minute game 3, and I probably tribute summoned Caius 5 times.
Oh my lord!
The Master Plan thing in theory only works 3 times, but you can also add it back. You can add the Banished Master Plan with Edia, So you can get like, and then discard it for Erebus, add like a Monarch from your grave. So you can get it back into the graveyard. It's like a little Return to the Different Dimension thing. And then you could do like a 4th and 5th time. And I did it all those times. And we got into a rush. I felt like I was like completely in the game. We had like 30 seconds, and I just needed a couple more minutes. Literally one more Caius resolution into just battle phase was probably going to kill him.
I see.
He was out of stuff, out of gas, and then the wheels fell off from there. I played against another Malice, got shiftered, shifter plus Bastille Ball Drake when I only had Eidos Monarch on field, and I just couldn't play through that. I like tried dumping my entire hand to make a play, lost to shifter Bastille, and then I won versus a Dogmatica Nouvelles deck, which was really funny because my opponent tried activating Maximus with no cards in my extra decks, which is illegal. Your opponent has to deck. It was the most funny thing I've ever seen at a regional. And then in round 8, I lost to Malice, almost broke the board game 1, drew 2 Eidos Squire, which sucks ass, and then game 2, I drew, like, I'm going to show this hand because it just looks disgusting because of, like, specifically the Platze board. It was this, it was this, it was this, it was this, and then it was a Pantheism with no discard.
Oh, that hurt.
My opponent showed me no hand traps after I scooped.
That hurts my soul.
I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
This is the Monarch spell. So you draw 5 Monarchs and you're like, cool.
I kept one of those. I bricked probably 3 games at this event, I think, which is like, it kind of sucks. But like, I think I did a little bit of hypergeometric calculating, and this had about like a 90% consistency, which is crazy for a deck with 40 engine to not be 100% consistent. But you know, shit happens. It's Monarch. You have to brick.
Listen, it happens.
You have to brick. Like that just happens. But I wouldn't change a single card in the main deck except maybe Zaborg. But like the only card I would consider would be like a random one of card like a Tactics. But Tactics feels kind of bad this format.
That's fair.
It's going second. It's a pretty bad card. And then the side deck, I would just get rid of these stupid double Cyclones and the Grand Marg, and I'd at least get rid of these for 3 Lancia. You could get rid of this for another Droll. If you want to respect a deck like Radiant Typhoon, this could be Ryza. In Genesis, I played Ryza. That's the only way you win this matchup, that Radiant Typhoon matchup. Do the little... The reason you need the Monarch here is honestly the Eidos resource loop where you revive it, add Aether, or add whatever, and it goes like +3 on your opponent's turn. So you like most matchups you need a target on your opponent's turn, which Light or Dark mostly fulfilled it. But against those fringe decks, it might be nice. But
no, I get you.
overall, I was super happy with the main deck. Side deck just needed a little work, and not getting shifted would have been awesome.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, well, hey, any shout-outs, Rendo?
Shout-outs to Team Evo. Shout-outs to the people at RAW Hobby. Shout-out to my friend Emmett and Alex who came to this regional with me. Honestly, I was going to play... Shout-outs to the cameraman Nick behind. I was asking him some advice on what I should play. I was going to originally bring Salamangreat with like a shit ton of hand traps at this event. And then I just kept losing because that deck is bad. And those cards aren't good enough anymore, I think.
I will say, most people at locals were telling him to just play Monarch, and he's like, no, Monarch's not that good. I'm going to get Droll. I'm like, just take Monarch.
It's more like I just didn't want to sit there for 6 hours and watch my opponents just spin their wheels. But it just worked out. Like, my opponents spun their wheels and it was good enough anyway. Erebus is fucking broken. Stormforth for Erebus is just broken. Soul Exchange for Erebus is broken. Domain's broken. It's all broken.
No, listen, again, Monarchs is cool, but like as long as you don't brick, this deck's goated. Like,
yeah, the deck, it's one of those, it's kind of like Lunalight. That's how I like to think about it. It's one of those decks where you combo, you insta-win. You're resolving your plays. You're in the game as soon as you play right. You just have to, like, get there. And you have to kind of mess with your opponent to get there, which I think is kind of a neat strategy.
No, I think it's sweet. Well, yeah, I'm happy with your performance, my man. I hope to see if you take it again to Lancia in a couple of weeks. It'll be awesome to see if you end up like pulling out there.
Yeah, awesome. Take care, everyone.
Yep, thank you.